Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, today I'd like to get started on some block sanding, but before we do that, we need to kind of put the car back together. The trunk lid's right here. It needs to go on. We got to get the stoppers in, the latch in, and make sure everything's adjusted just right. Luckily, the stopper kit finally came in from OPGI. It was on back order for I don't know how long. So I have the stoppers for the door and the trunk lid. I have a sneaking feeling that we're going to have to modify them though to get it to work just right. I also want to answer some questions. I get a lot of the same questions over and over again in the comments, so I'd kind of like to cover some of those on video and let you guys know why I'm doing the way I'm doing it, my thought process on that, so you guys kind of have a little better understanding where I'm going with this thing. So let's jump in, check the doors real quick, and then we'll get those stoppers in there and see if we have to modify them or if they're going to be perfect right out of the package. All right guys, last week we got primer on the doors and the fenders and the quarter panel a little bit, and I'm thrilled the way the transitions look and the gaps and everything. The gaps are bigger than I want, but with these GMA bodies, you go too tight, they're going to rub. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. We're still going to get buildup on both edges, so I think it's going to come out just about perfect if I figured this out right. So it's looking really good back here, and just going through the shadows, if you watch them go through, you know, they're not waving all over the place. So I think we got a really good start here. This door is going to look really good. It was really beat up. So the bumper, the stoppers we need to put in go right here. So you got a slot right here and you got a slot down there. Now these doors, they have a little bit of twist from them. All the ones I've ever done, you had to kind of make them go where you want. So the bumper kit is called the stopper kit. It's for the door, the trunk, the hood, the gas tank, and the glove box. And here are the two stoppers we're going to be using today. And they go right in here, and then they stop up against the inside of the jamb right here. And these really need to be adjusted right. I've done this on a few cars where a lot of guys will just let the weather strip be the stopper. Well, weather strip, you know, gets hot, and then it'll pull in, you know, with pressure, and then the gaps will change. So you really want kind of a positive stop, and that's what these were designed for. So let me put the camera down, we'll get them in, and we'll just push it up against the stoppers and see what the, you know, the transition looks like from the quarter panel to the door, and see if we need to add or subtract from them. So let me get that done, and I'll bring you right back. All right, I got them both installed. Kind of a pain doing it dry. Obviously in prime, I don't want to put any lube or any soap or anything on to make it slide in easier, but they're in the slot. The tab is kind of like shaped like an arrowhead like you guys saw earlier, so I just take an old kind of a dull screwdriver and put it on the inside and push, trying to push that arrowhead in there, and then just keep messing around prying on it till it pops in. But I got them in, and the idea is for these things to stop up against the side right here of the door and then right up inside the door jamb. Let me bring you in close and I'll show you what our gap is right now, or our transition. All right, let's move this up tight up against both those stops. I'm gonna hold it right there. You can see, I don't know if you guys can make that out, but it's in a little too deep right there. So what we need to do is fatten up those stops in there. So I have some rubber to do that, and like I said, I've had to do this before. You can try to rely on the weather strip, but what happens is the weather strip keeps getting crushed more and more and more, and then you have your striker and your latch adjusted, and then your door starts rattling, or you start getting whistling because now you've crushed the weather strip past where it should have been, and it can't seal anymore. So the weather strip is weather stripping. These stops, these stoppers are the stops. So you shouldn't use the weather strip for your stop. Now it will help seal and stop it, but really, ultimately, you want those stops to do the job. That way you can adjust your striker and get everything. But as you can see, these don't match right. I mean, that was probably okay in 1967, but it's not going to be okay now. So let's open this up and figure out how to get these fattened up a little bit. All right, when we close the door and push right where that stopper is, this feels like it's about 1/8 of an inch too low. And if I do it on the bottom one in the exact same spot where the bumper is, it feels about 1/8 of an inch too low. So these are split in two, as you can see. I'm not sure why GM did that, but if somebody knows, let me know. Possibly because they moved quite a bit and they didn't want them to tear out. But I went by our local industrial rubber supply, and I picked up some 1/8 inch and some 1/16 of an inch rubber sheets just a couple small pieces. Actually, the guy gave them to me. They were in the scrap bin, and they're about the same durometer, about the same hardness as this. Not exact, but pretty close. So the idea is we can either slide them inside there and glue them, or we can glue them to the outside. And I kind of like to keep this detail where it's open like that. The factory did it for a reason. I'm not going to question them on that. But so what we want to do is just take some tape and tape a piece of this on one side, do it on both bumpers, and then shut it, see how it looks. And if it looks like it's going to work, then we can go ahead and put the latch in and go ahead and latch it and see if it's going to give us a nice smooth transition. So let me get some tape, get that done, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, I have 1/8 inch piece taped to just half of it on the top and on the bottom. I went ahead and put the latch in. It was too hard just to hold the door up against her tight. So let's latch it and see how it looks. Boy, it latches really nice. And it feels pretty good. I'll bring you in close, let you guys take a look at it. Let me know what you think. All right, looks really good. I'm really happy with that. It looks basically exactly the same as when I was using the MDF blocks taped to the inside of the panel there. So I'm really happy for that. So that looks like the 1/8 inch is going to work out perfectly. So now I need to cut some squares out of that sheet exactly the same size of that stopper, and then get some contact cement and glue them together so those will be ready to go. The other side I'll do the same thing. If it takes less or more, we'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, that's working out really nice. All right, guys, well, we're waiting for that glue to set up so we can stick those parts together. I want to answer a few questions that come up frequently. So the first question is, what epoxy primer are you using? So I'm using the Napa Martin Senior brand. It's the TP570 for the epoxy primer. The hardener that goes with it is TH572. And I really like this epoxy, guys. So my buddy that has been in the automotive paint business since we were in high school, I've known him since grade school, his paint rep highly recommended this epoxy, and I'm glad he did. I really love it. I love the way it sprays. I love the way it sands. It's got good build, nice and hard, everything you want in epoxy primer to protect your car. The one thing I don't like about it is the cost. It is crazy expensive, really expensive. Then on top of that, you got to buy hardener and reducer, so it can really get costly and bite into your budget pretty good. But I don't want to go cheap, and it's my car, my build, it's once in a lifetime, so I don't mind spending the money. I just bought my 3rd gallon. I used the last of the 2nd gallon on the doors last week, so I've gone through a lot of material. But remember, Ruby's a big car. I've been spraying her inside and out everywhere, so it eats up a lot of material. Now the next question is, what are you going to do for your blocking medium? Are you going to use polyester primer? Are you going to use a high build urethane? What are you using? So I'm going to use epoxy. Now, you can use polyester primer, you can use a urethane, but you guys need to remember, polyester primer is not waterproof. Urethane primer is not waterproof. Body filler is not waterproof. Epoxy is. So I decided to go ahead and use epoxy all the way out for that reason. Plus, let's say I spray it with urethane over the top of this epoxy and I'm blocking out. I'm going to have shiners coming through. There's going to be steel showing here and there and everywhere. Technically, I need to mix up more epoxy, spray those areas, let it cure out all the way, sand it carefully, then put more urethane over the top of it, and then block out some more. So that's going to kind of save me that step, which is nice, but it's going to cost me more money. So there's always trade-off. Now I'm going to put epoxy all the way to the top. I'm going to spray the base coat right on top of this epoxy. It's going to be final sand, then base coat, clear coat. Now I'm not going to use a sealer. I'm not going to use anything else. Epoxy, base coat, clear coat, and that's a choice I'm making. I don't like to use sealers anymore. I used to use them in the past, but if you think about it, especially if you're a novice guy and you're using wet on wet sealer, you spray the car with a sealer, then you have to spray the base coat over that before it dries, then you got to get your clear on, and that's a lot to do in a booth by a guy by himself that hasn't done it a lot. That's why I don't like doing it. You can put some orange peel in or maybe a run in the sealer, then you have to deal with that, or that shows in your base coat and your clear coat. So I tend not to do that. You guys do what's best for you, but I'm going to be spraying right over this epoxy. Another question I have is what kind of body filler, what do you like? So I'm using Rage Gold on Ruby. I really like it, but I understand Rage Gold Ultra is really good too. I haven't used it. But you want to get a premium body filler. Don't go cheap on body filler. I used to back in the day when I was younger and I didn't have much money. Really, the cheaper body fillers, they shrink more, they got more pinholes, They're harder to sand, they clog your sandpaper. It's just not worth it. Spend the extra $20 or $30 a gallon, get a premium body filler. You don't have to use what I use, but look around what all the pros are using. They're going to use stuff that spreads easy and sands well and doesn't shrink a lot. So kind of follow our leads on what we learned from our mistakes, right? So another question that I've got, it's come up a few times, is Mark, there's no engine and transmission, no weight in the car, and you put all these body panels on. You know, when you put the car together finally, none of this stuff is going to line up. Well, it will line up. There's plenty of adjustment in the fenders and the doors and everything else. By putting it together like this, sitting on the frame, fully bolted down with all the body bolts in, this is possible. I know that I can get this gap back because I've got it right now. Sure, if the car loads and the frame or the chassis bends just a little bit, I have more than enough adjustment to get it right back where it is right now. I have no worries about it at all. Okay, that's a few questions I wanted to catch up with you guys on. So let's go ahead and see if we can get Trish out here and help me with the trunk lid, and we'll get going on that. All right, we got those pieces on there, trimmed up and installed. Can't hardly even tell I put that little 1/8" pad on there. So let's close it, see how it does. Closes really nice, and it's looking really good, guys. Really good. Let's trust it out here. Yep, feels good. Really good across there. So that's done. Hopefully the other side goes as smooth. Now we need to move over to the trunk lid. We've got these stoppers to put on. They go right here in these little spots. And I don't know if they're going to be too tall or not tall enough, so we got to pop those in. I already installed the catch right there for the latch. We won't put the latch in the car because we just want to lower it down and let it sit where it wants to sit. So I'm going to get these installed and see if I can talk Trish into coming down and give me a hand for just a second. All right, I talked Trish into give me a hand for a minute. She wants a raise, but I don't think I'm going to give it to her. All right, come on, let's go. All right, lift it up. All right, wait for me. All right, set it down gently. Okay, let's sit down right here. All right, you can move your hands. You can move your finger out. All right, thank you. All right, we got the trunk lid on there, no problems. Having Trish help really saves my back, that's for sure. You may notice she was wearing gloves. That's not to protect her hands, that's to protect Ruby. Hand lotion will ruin a paint job faster than anything, so be careful when you have somebody help you. So if you guys look right here, you can tell those bumpers are too tall. And I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to cut those and have them look good? I mean, adding on is easy. I could add on underneath and you'd never notice. They don't fit so well either, so they pop in and out pretty easy. So I think they're going to be glued on permanently when the car's done. But for now, we have to figure out how to trim those off. So I need to measure how far down they need to go and then figure out a way to trim them. So give me a second to figure that out and I'll bring you right back. I've done a lot of A-bodies in my life, and these looked a little fat, a little tall when I took them out of the package, but I didn't realize it would be this tall. So we need to go over 1/4 inch on this one. Now I did do some work over here to raise that up, so it's not necessarily the bumper's fault. And this one is, we need just about 200 thousandths taken off. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But I think I'm going to try to chuck it up in Dave's lathe and then just mark the line and then just have it rotate and push a razor blade down inside there and try to slice that off. But I won't know until I try. So I'll bring you back when I get that done and we'll see if we can get this thing leveled out. All right, guys, that worked out pretty good. Nice clean cuts. I just held a razor knife up against there while it was rotating really slow away from me, like you see right here. And then it sliced right through it. Just had to be patient. So let's put these on and see if we got it right. All right, we're looking pretty good here. So it's a lot better than it was, obviously, but the trunk lid needs to go forward a little bit. Now that I have it lowered down, I can tell that we're out of adjustment. This side over here, it might be a little low. It's hard to tell, and it needs to go, I think, back just a tiny bit, and then I have to adjust that corner up a little bit. So let me take care of all that. A lot of tedious crawling inside the trunk from the inside, and then I'll bring it back. We get this all leveled out, and this area should be ready to be blocked. All right, guys, I think that's just about as good as I can get it right there. It's adjusted really nice. This side is really good too. So I'm really happy with that. All that work we did in advance really helps out, you know, getting everything right back where it belongs fairly easily. And I plan on doing some blocking in this video, and I still do, but I'm going to change gears here a little bit. I think what I want to do, these doors need some filler on both sides, you know, where we had that, you know, primer ground away and we had some filler and some other low spots on both of them, both doors, the sail panel on the other side, and there's a few little dingers here and there that I do know that need filling. So I think that's what I want to do next, but it's 96 degrees in the shop and there's no way I want to sling some body filler in this temperature. So I think we're going to get up early, get out here at dark 30 and get some body filler on this thing and get these areas blocked out. All right, guys, it is a little after 5. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a pack of coyotes going crazy on the other side of my pasture fence. Hope they're not messing with my neighbor's animals. So it's 80 degrees, almost 81 degrees in the shop. I was hoping for a little cooler, but we'll take what we can get. So I've got some small dingers that I knew that the primer wouldn't take out. 2 right there, a little one right there, and then a little bit up here, and then we need to fill that whole area. That's where we it's got a little hoop-de-doo in it out to the edge. And this is similar to what we did last week, where we have to bring that out to match. I went ahead and masked everything so I could just, you know, go right over the top of it and not worry about it getting on the next panel. And we've got a couple of spots on the other side as well. So let's mix up some body filler and get at it. All right, I took the body filler in the house last night to keep it cooler, and I got up a little after 4 this morning. I put it in the fridge, and just to cool it down a little bit, it's going to extend your spread time. Don't freeze it, don't get it super cold, but if you cool it down, that really helps you out a lot. So I'm going to stir it up good, mix up a batch, and I'll meet you back over at the car. All right, let's start with these small ones here. I scuffed all this with 60 grit, so it's got a good scuff to it. It's going to go down inside that seam, but I'm not worried about it. I'll cut it open. But I did scuff down inside there too. I hear the horses next door going crazy, but she's got Great Pyrenees, so I think they're going to be okay. All right, guys, I got it all in one batch, all those spots, just because I cooled it down and I started early. Let me clean up and get this masking paper out of the way, and we'll see how we did. All right, guys, I can't believe I got all these spots in one batch without it going off, but we did. So cooling that stuff down does help. Starting early helps, but we got them. I'm gonna go ahead and eat some breakfast, let this set up, we'll come back and get it sanded. All right, had some breakfast, took care of some chores, and this stuff is set up rock hard. Now, when you're putting body filler on in the summertime, it's a struggle. So your first instinct is to start cutting the hardener way back. And that's okay, you can cut it back some, but you can't go too far. If you go too far, it's not going to set up properly, and then it's a ticking time bomb underneath your paint job. It'll cause it to blister, bubble, there's all kinds of stuff, because it'll kind of outgas even a year later, and then you'll get a big blister. So chill your body filler, cool it down, do early morning, whatever you got to do, and then make sure you get a proper amount of hardener in there. So I'm going to hit this with some 40 grit just to knock the tops off of it, then we'll switch over something finer and go ahead and get all these blocked out real quick. right, guys, we got these roughed down. Hit them with some 60 after I hit it with the 40. They're looking pretty good. And this video is getting a little long, but I said I'm going to do some block sanding, so I'm going to do some block sanding. This door has a lot of sand scratches in it, deep ones, from roughing out all that body filler. I don't know if you guys can see them. So we're going to hit it with a little bit longer block with some 60 grit just to knock the tops off and see where we're at. And then we can get serious about block sanding on the next video, I guess. All right, let's see what's going on here. Out of shape. All right, let me bring you in close. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here, and then I think we're going to call this because I got a lot of block sanding to do on this door. All right, let's see how we're doing here. So as you can see right here, I've been blocking across with that long block with 60 on it, and we're a little shy right here and a little over here. It's starting to touch right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep blocking across here until I see the hint of steel starting to show right here. And then if this hasn't come out, then I'll go ahead and scuff that and fill it, then block it across, and we'll get more primer on it. We're a little low right here. You can see a little bit of unsanded body filler. I think I need to add some more right there, but that's no big deal. I'll wait to see how this turns out. I can do them both at the same time. And you can see the heavy sand scratches in there, but they're going to come out. We've got quite a bit of primer on there, and if they don't, we'll glaze them, but it's looking pretty good. The body line here, that is kind of wandering back and forth, but we'll fine tune that. We've got the good general shape, which is really good. This spot right here, I blocked the big long block up to about here, and then I was blocking across here with a shorter block, and this is where they connect with that curve. So I'm going to go ahead and use an even shorter block to blend those two together once I get both halves done. And so I was blocking across here with a little bit shorter block, mostly on this side, just catching this side a little bit. You can see how far I've gone, and we're doing pretty good, but we're a little shy right here, and we've got some steel showing. So I'm probably going to tap that down lightly and then keep sanding until that comes all the way over, and that should be good right there. But all in all, we're looking pretty good. We got a pretty good start to block sanding. Unfortunately, I didn't do as much as I wanted on this video, but we got sidetracked with a few other things. But next video, I promise I'll wear myself out block sanding. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. We got the rubber stopper kit modified. We had to add for the doors and subtract for the trunk lid, but now those body panels are lining up just the way I want them, just the way they will be when the car's done. Really happy to get that knocked out. We got some filling done, really needed to get that done, and we finally got to some blocking. And I've been trying to get to blocking, but something keeps getting in the way, and I can't just jump to that part. I need to, fill the low areas, and so when we're blocking out, we don't go, oh, well, now I got to fill that. So I'd like to do it in advance, then we can just block over everything and hopefully not have to fill too much more. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.